You know, the thing about sequels is, not every movie needs one, because while they're great for franchises like Marvel, in some cases, they just ruin the vibe of the original film. Which ones? I got a whole list of those, starting with Die Hard, which is a pretty good example of how not to milk a franchise to extinction. Like, think about it. The first Die Hard film is a classic, happens to be one of the most popular Christmas movies of all time, and has even inspired hits like the very recent Violent Night. But the last Die Hard film? Well, does anyone even remember it? I don't. And that's where I rest my point. Honestly, not every film needs a follow-up story. Sure, John McClane may have had his glory days, but to stretch it till A Good Day to Die Hard just took away from the essence of the whole thing. The most I can do is stretch my marathon up to Die Hard with a Vengeance, and that too for Samuel Jackson. But Die Hard isn't the only action movie to go through this issue. There are more where that came from. Including Rocky. Now, that was a masterpiece. Once. Okay, maybe even twice. But do you know what the second movie did? It not only took away from the first film's magic and charm, but also gave way to a 6-movie franchise that spends more time undoing what the first movie did than anything else. The only achievement we'll clock in for them is to make Rocky look more chiseled and tanned. But they didn't have to do that because we'd love Sylvester Stallone even in his dad bod glory. And to go as far as to show him stopping the Cold War to escalate is just icing on top of an already burnt cake. Okay, maybe not burnt, but a sour one? Speaking of which, this next sequel also decided to use that mood as their official aesthetic, The Mask. Hey, now, don't look at me like that. The Mask really was a masterpiece that Jim Carrey carried on his shoulders. But the day they decided to make Son of the Mask is the day they killed the entire franchise. No, really, I'm not even being that harsh. All you have to do is type a short Google search, and you'll know the kind of names they call this film. Unholy Abomination is one of them. The first film just fits the bill because its extravagant feel brings out Carrey's personality to the funniest extent and makes even the most bizarre special effects look good. Its sequel, though, does none of that. Obviously, Jim Carrey's absence is a huge reason, but it could at least have been a little digestible despite that. But no, instead, it even put its own PG rating to shame, proving that not every masterpiece needs to be recreated, especially when the story revolves around a single object that just makes the sequel feel repetitive.
Last but not least, my favorite. A Tommy gun!
Like in Jaws. Look, I'll say it once. You cannot make sharks look any scarier than how Jaws did the first time. You just can't. Steven Spielberg's iconic horror fest literally broke the box office. It was that good, especially considering how it came out during a time when slasher horror flicks were taking over the genre. With Jaws, he turned the entire industry around and made us realize that you can't just expect humans to slash and kill their way to destruction. Sharks can do that too, but each and every time, in 3 more sequels? Nah, that's just too much seascaping for me to handle. Like, why don't movie makers understand that not every film can be squeezed for cash? And I want to ask the same question to Guy Ferland for Dirty Dancing, or actually its sequel, Savannah Nights. Look, what made the original film a masterpiece was its setup, the story, baby put in a corner, and most of all, the dancing. It was its charm and the cast's chemistry that made the first film such a hit, despite Patrick Swayze and Jennifer Grey practically hating each other's guts during filming. But while the moral of that movie was that nobody puts baby in a corner, all we gotta say about the sequel is that this baby really belongs to the farthest corner of the studio's dustiest storage room, and definitely not on the screens. It lacked the chemistry the first film had, the rebellious spirit of the cast, and even the dancing that maybe could have saved it from being such a dud. Too bad they didn't think it through, eh? And the same goes for The Exorcist, which is one movie I just cannot watch again. Just the idea of staring into Linda Blair's soulless eyes as she crawls upside down from the stairs is enough to make me switch on the lights. But sadly, I can't say the same for its sequel. Neither can IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes with their 3.8 and 10% ratings of the film. Need I say more? Actually though, I do, but not about this movie. Instead, I'd like to raise some complaints about another epic classic ruined by its sequels.
Of God. It's the power. Holy
The Matrix, which set the sci-fi genre bar so high, no other movie could dare reach it, and neither could its sequels. The original was a story of belief, reminding us of the fact that there's always a choice that can save you, and that in The Matrix, anything is possible. Sadly, the excellence wasn't possible to recreate, because as soon as they started releasing, the whole charm of the original one fell flat. It's like you're at a party and a particular friend of yours tells a joke, but proceeds to ruin it by over-explaining the entire thing. No one needs that, just like no one needs a million Matrix movies to love the original one. Or even another Silence of the Lambs film. But hey, we got one more of that too, didn't we? And without Jodie Foster. Can you believe it? Like, okay, you wanted to explain where Hannibal Lecter went off to and wanted another movie to finish off the masterpiece. So the least you could do is bring the original cast back, right? But they didn't. Although, honestly, that wasn't the only reason the film sequel fell flat. It just wasn't original enough. With the first movie, Silence of the Lambs gave us an unreal, but also very believable take on the mind of a criminal and a woman succeeding in the world of men. But the second one took away all that without even trying. God, people, not every epic movie stays epic after a half-baked sequel. We know that now more than ever, thanks to my list and the ever-so-popular Avatar. Sorry I had to speak of this one. Now look, the key to making an epic, blockbuster movie is to tell a story no one else has heard before. James Cameron of all people knows how to do that. Titanic, Aliens, and Terminator 2 Judgment Day are proof enough. But did he really have to go make another Avatar film too, with 3 more in line? That just feels like a stretch. Sure, Avatar: The Way of Water has proven to be successful enough.
I'm with you now, Jake. We are mated for life.
But don't you think that its success lies in the novelty of the whole thing? Like, we had to wait for ages for it to come out, and now that it has, everyone wants to watch the impossible sequel that almost never happened. But will that magic continue when they keep churning out a new Avatar film every year? Not likely, making it another possible addition to my list that I've explained to you today. I guess that's how they roll in Hollywood, though. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And while you type in that reply, I'm signing off to watch some original content instead. See you in the next video.